Of the 50 top free agents at the start of the offseason, only 23 are left. The Rangers didn't sign any of those 27. Are any of the 23 a possibility? The answer coming up next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Anybody? Rangers are certainly in the market for pitching and for a bat, although I don't know that either one of those guys are on the shopping list right now. Hi there. Welcome into the DLLS Sports Studios. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson, and big surprising news for you today. The Prophet's back. We got the Prophet in today for Kat. The Queen's taking care of other sort of procedural business that she does by being the Queen and one of the bosses around here. So we're glad to have the Prophet back. He's been busy with the other gig, but he's got a little time for us and a little time for you. So say hello to the Prophet as we say hello to you. We love having you in the chat, and we'll chat with you throughout the course of the program as we talk through these things, Jeff, that, probably aren't super realistic, but what the heck? That's what this time of the year is for.
That's right.
And by the way, the stove is getting a little hotter as the weather around here gets a little colder. I don't know that they're closer to signing anybody, Jeff, but I'm throwing a few more logs on the dang fire because I'm cold.
Yeah, and I've thought about this, like what's their next move, and do they have a big move in them? And it seems like the pitchers the starting pitchers that they could potentially sign are still available. So maybe that market hasn't moved yet, because like the very top of it,
right?
Really, Framber Valdez is the best pitcher. He's still available. But
sure,
the Blue Jays went and signed Dylan Cease for pretty big money. Merrill Kelly is signed, but he's not he wasn't a top guy. So you look at what is Zach Gallen waiting for?
Right.
What kind of money is he going to get? And Chris Bassett, it just seems like none of these guys are perfect. They're they're not like, this is a guy who could change our future for a couple, 5 seasons.
Right.
Or you don't want to get that kind of Framber Valdez, the kind of guy that he is,
right, because again, he is a guy talent wise that would fit that bill.
He's
right, he's the kind of guy that could change the season for the next the next 5 seasons. But again, the Rangers and Chris Young, rightly, I don't disagree with this at all, are far too concerned and rightly so about the right kind of guy in the clubhouse. And what was the alleged problem last year? Clubhouse chemistry.
Right.
You think bringing a guy like that into the clubhouse would do anything for chemistry? It would not. But Prophet, do we have that list of the 23 that are left? And we'll just remind all of you, and we'll run through some of these names, but there you see amazingly, what is that? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So a lot of the top 10 are left. And I'm interested, and it's a guy we haven't talked about. Some of the people in the chat have brought him up a few times, Jeff, but what about 10? Ranger Suarez.
The Rangers are a little right-handed heavy, would they like a lefty? The guy's pretty good. There's no question about that. But, is he waiting? Is he the next shoe to drop? Does he need to sign for the rest of the the rest of the pitchers to start to sign. You know, the Orioles re-signed Zach Eflin.
Yes.
And
1 for 10.
Right. And okay, so I think in my mind I think of Zach Eflin. Okay. So I look at that list and I think Zach Littell. All right. Maybe because they're both named Zach. But I think they're very similar pitchers.
Yeah.
I think Eflin probably throws a little bit harder than Littell, but is that where the Rangers are playing? Is that gonna get anybody excited? And then you look at the values. I see Kerdua chimes in. Sport Track. I've looked at their values too, and they have Bassett at 14 or 15 million. Then they have Giolito at 20. And I don't think of Giolito as a 18, 19, 20 million dollar.
Oh, I don't
pitcher.
either. No.
So I'm not quite sure how all these things are going to shake loose. But I don't think the Rangers want to mess with Max Scherzer. I don't think they want to necessarily mess with Verlander just because of age and injuries and all of that.
Sure.
Nick Martinez, great guy, willing to do anything, former Ranger, better than he was, obviously, when the Rangers thrust him into the spotlight there in 14 out of necessity. But doesn't strike out anybody, right? No. So, what kind of guy do the Rangers
and
really
how much money
want?
do you need to give him?
Right. He accepted the qualified offer last year, so he pitched for $21 million last year.
Yeah. Right.
What is he going to want? And then Kerdua also just brought up Imai.
Right. Yeah, who's 7 on that list, and maybe, in my opinion, a little too high, but maybe not. It's hard to tell how stuff is going to translate.
But why is he still? Why haven't you heard a lot about it?
Right.
Why is Okamoto still available?
Right.
And I understand the difference between a hitter and a pitcher from Japan. But are they going to get the kind of deals they want? And then also, are they now being affected by the potential work stoppage? And Chris Davis said at the winter meetings that the Rangers are operating business as usual. They're willing to do multiple years, and indeed they gave Danny Jansen a second year. So I guess you take him at his word, but if you're going to throw, let's say, $200 million at a guy, do you want to lose that kind of money in one? I mean, they don't get paid, but still, the fact of the matter is that when this agreement comes together to resolve any lockout, players are still going to want as much money as they can get. Do you want to lose I don't know. It just seems like this is an abnormal offseason to me.
Agreed, 100%. And by the way, one guy we didn't mention who was on that list we're very familiar with is Tyler Mahle.
Yeah.
Down there at 47 and, kind of lurking. And so the two that come to mind in my mind are Mahle and Imai. And the reason I say Imai, he's obviously way higher in a different price bracket than Tyler Mahle. But the Rangers have done so much work in the past with these Japanese players, and they do so well in really all of Asia, but in Japan they've done so well. So, but can they, Jeff? Can they, and would they? Would it be this quiet if they were in on Imai?
Yeah, and maybe again, like last year, I've mentioned this before. Last year, Sasaki was big. Then, the last big one before that was Ohtani.
Yeah. And
the previous big one before that was Darvish. And these were thought to be generational kind of players. So what does if there's not the buzz around these guys, like Imai, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Whatever. If there's not buzz around him, is he a guy?
Right.
Is he
right?
Holy cow! Why aren't all these teams lining up for him, and why isn't he doing like Sasaki and Ohtani did, and interviewing teams and making them scramble and meet in one location and have all these meetings? Why round one of the email?
Right.
You haven't had that.
Right.
So well, is he even that good?
Right. That's my guess is he can't. Right. That's my guess. Why isn't he? Because he can't, and neither could Murakami, and neither can Okamoto, right?
Yeah.
They just aren't that well thought of. But they all have markets. Murakami did, got good money, nowhere near what people were projecting, but he got good money. And by the way, what a good dude. Right after his press conference when he signed, he went out and took some of his own money, and he went with somebody from the White Sox organization, and they went and gave, I don't know, $100 or $200 a family to like 100 different families, just to help kind of get himself involved in the community. So a really cool way for him to start his career here in America. And again, these men realize the blessing that the money they get is, whether it's 8 for 180 or whatever we were hearing, or 2 for 34. 34 million's a lot of money, Jeff, in this day and age.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, if this is a guy like at the start of free agency, right? The Rangers check in on all these guys. And now, you're probably hearing from those agents like, this is our, what we expect. This is what the market's saying we're going to get. Da, 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 da. And now that here they are, and the market's not saying that, got to check back in, because if you think that this guy's going to be a steal, I mean, do you think the White Sox were in on Murakami from the start?
Can't imagine.
But then it came down and gotten to where they thought they could make a deal work, and he probably got to the point where it was like, well, I'm not going to get this big 8-year deal.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out how to maximize my value. So if I take a short deal and I can become a free agent again, established, kind of bet on yourself.
Betting on himself.
So then he takes the short deal, which is still pretty good money, better than he was going to make in Japan, and now he gets another crack at the pie here in 2 years. So if Imai, if he has fallen to that level, then the Rangers need to get in there.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Can he be? And somebody says in the chat, Braden, it looks like, says, CY is always moving sort of in silence, very stealth-like, right, is where he moves in these circles. And that's true. He and the whole Rangers organization do a great job of keeping things quiet. And so if it's, something that the Rangers are working on, I'm not surprised we haven't heard. And because we haven't heard anything about the market really being established for really either one of those players, nor did we hear much about Murakami. And I think Imai's is the first one that comes up. It's like the second or something. And then Okamoto's like on the fourth. So, these deadlines are drawing close.
Yeah. And, like with everything in baseball, you slap a deadline on something, and it's going to go to the end.
To the deadline,
and then Imai's agent is Scott Boras. So, Scott's no stranger to these things, and he'll take it right to the end.
Yep.
But it seems like, there's a New York Post story that I think just kind of aggregated some stories from Japan that Imai doesn't know where he's going to go.
Right.
And that with a week to go, he's kind of like, I don't know, help a brother out here.
Right.
Friday is the second, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. So he's got to get that done. They've got to get that done. They will. But again, it may be a Chicago White Sox type deal. And since the Rangers aren't quite on the White Sox budget, low, but they are on a budget, maybe something like that plays into their hands. And maybe, I don't think in the case of Imai, because he's the top ranked pitcher left on that board, I think. Framber, right. Framber than him. I guess, but Imai's not waiting for the market to set, right? He needs to get it done by Friday. The others below him, Zach Gallen and those guys, could easily be waiting, at the advice of their agent and everything. Well, let's see what Framber gets before we know exactly sort of what zip code we're in as far as free agent money this year.
Yeah. Or they may be like, well, let's see what this guy gets, an unproven,
sure,
talented guy. But, if a team is willing to sink, $25 million a year into this guy with no track record, Zach Gallen can say, hey, I've got a track record. Yeah, I had a crappy year, but
right.
look at the total body of work. And then Framber can be like, hey, Zach, I'm better than you.
Right.
So,
and Ranger right in that territory.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I just think that the dam's going to break at some point, and then that's if it does, when it does break, then the Rangers will have a better idea of where if the guys maybe they have targeted, like, hey, we might have an outside chance at this guy, then maybe they'll know. Well, no, we don't. Or yeah, we're right in there.
And then if not, they'll go back and sign Patrick Corbin again.
Hey.
So, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with Patrick Corbin, as Jeff said from day one last year.
That's right.
He was totally on board with Patrick Corbin.
Patrick Corbin was going to be gold.
Day one.
Yeah.
More coming up as we continue to work our way through this day and the beginning of another short week for us. But so happy to be here and talking baseball with you. Coming up next, we've got a couple of things yet to talk about, some actual Ranger news coming next. And then MLB has identified comeback players who really need a comeback for each team. We'll talk about that. It's coming up. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. About a year ago, I had a roof inspection at the house. They said, you got a bad roof, but it's not going to be covered by insurance, so hope for hail. Got to be careful what you wish for, Jeff. We got hail last spring. I got a bunch of new roofs, got a new car, got a broken window. There was a lot of hail. In any event, you should do that too. Get Qualis Roofing to come out and take a look at your roof. And if the insurance company would cover it, they'd have it replaced right now. If not, they might tell you, like me, hope for hail. And again, I'll tell you, be careful what you wish for. But Qualis will do it so well. They will do it pretty much perfectly. They've got 700 5-star reviews. They're local. If they come out for that inspection, you get a free DLLS T-shirt. I didn't have Qualis, so I didn't get the T-shirt last year. And then if you get your roof through them, you get a free Traeger smoker or Blackstone grill. So Qualis Roofing is the place to go for all of your roofing needs. That's QualisGC.com, Qualis Roofing.
And today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/DLS. That'll get you $50 in free lineups when you use your first $5 lineup. Download the app. It's real simple. They're called lineups. It's 2 to 6 players. They have to, if you do 2, it has to be on different teams. But anyway, 2 to 6 different players. You can do it for as little as $1. And what you're doing is selecting whether a player will have more or less than a certain statistical category. Look, the holidays were no time off for the NBA or the NFL or Prize Picks. So I had a little bit more investment into those games on Christmas than I normally would when I was watching. But it's just so much fun. I've already done a 6-player lineup, including Cooper Flagg, who I was becoming one of my go-to guys. But anyway, PrizePicks.com/DLS, $50 in free lineups after your first $5 lineup.
Holly suggesting in the chat that there's also a chance the Rangers only do minor league deals the rest of the way out. Certainly that's always a chance. I do think there's going to be at least one more major league deal, Jeff, and probably 2, at least 2.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I think they have one spot available on the 40. And they can definitely make room for another couple spots if needed. And they got to sign a pitcher to a major league, a starting pitcher to a major league contract.
They do. That's the one, right? They may not get a bat, but they got to do that.
To do that. And again, the minor league deals are part of the business this time of year. And you hit one every once in a while. You really do. And you need these guys, so you build your depth, and you never know what's going to happen. And speaking of which, the Rangers have signed one.
Yeah, and even his name says Merry Christmas. Nabil Christmas. Or is it Chrismat? Or is it Chrismat? Do you know?
Well, I was thinking it's more like Hazmat.
Like Hazmat,
but I don't know.
Chrismatt. You could pronounce it however you want until we learn the official pronunciation from him. He's floated around, I think, 4 different teams for which he's had an opportunity to pitch at the big league level.
Yeah. And last year, he bounced around for a couple of years. But he was with the Diamondbacks, and I'm pretty sure he he beat the Rangers. Now that's probably, not not a surprise, considering the Rangers always ran into some fellas like this. But it was probably his best start of the year, which again doesn't come as a surprise.
Yeah,
Six and a third, 7 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, and a 5-3 Diamondbacks victory in Phoenix. But yeah,
was that September that bad when they went there and lost 2 out of 3?
It was on Labor Day.
Labor Day, okay.
Yeah. But anywho, he didn't pitch very well. He wasn't bad actually. Let me take that back. But he's not going to sign a major league.
You're going to tell me that it wasn't such great pitching as it was. It was bad hitting.
I might be telling you that.
Probably what happened there. I'll be darned.
Yeah.
It seems like that hardly ever happened.
But anyway, he can start. He can be a reliever. He pitched in the Rangers organization. It might have been last year or 24. He was with Round Rock for like a month. He pitched for the Dodgers in 24. I think he opened the season with them. So he got a World Series ring out of it.
Good.
So, he's a guy who's probably going to use this as a potential showcase for other teams. But also, he's probably looking around and being like, hey, I might have a spot with these guys.
Right. Sure. Yeah. And that's certainly what guys and their agents do. You want to go to a team that can utilize you or that needs you. And certainly right now, everybody would know the Rangers are in need of at least one more starting pitcher with major league experience, which this man has. Now, I think Jeff and I both think they're going to sign another guy that has a lot more experience. That doesn't mean Mr. Chrismat can't make the team out of spring training, Jeff, because he certainly could, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. Chris Young has said it, and I think even more directly, Skip Schumacher has said, look, man, I want every player going into spring training battling for their position, like nothing guaranteed. Obviously, Corey Seager's going to be pretty sure he's got his spot.
Yeah, I think
Other
Corey's
than that,
okay.
he wants everybody, and I don't blame him. I mean, Wyatt Langford might also fall into that category, but heck, we don't even know where Wyatt. He doesn't know where Wyatt's going to play yet, right? We don't know which position.
Yeah, that hasn't
officially shaken out. Yeah, so
a lot of it'll depend on how Evan Carter's doing and where Nimmo was comfortable, and but Wyatt can definitly play left and he can definitely play center.
Sure,
and he probably right.
He'd have no problem with right. I mean, he hadn't played much. Well, he hadn't played any outfield, when we got him. So, yeah. And the other news of the day there is, kind of brought up by Gallagher Champ that our boy Heen Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Has retired. Andrew Heaney, who was with the Rangers for a couple of seasons there at 22 and 23. And there you see all the teams he played for. And again, he pitched. Most of my memories of him were with those Angels teams. He was with the Angels for 7 or 8 years, I think.
Yeah.
And but then, he had 2 really good years here, and he did very well against the Rangers, Jeff, when he was pitching for the Angels, too.
Yeah, and, I remember him with the Angels because he was the team spokesman, if you will, when Tyler Skaggs died.
Oh, that's right.
And that was here, and Andrew was his buddy, and they were at the, Andrew was the guy who was speaking the day after the death. The game had been canceled or whatever, and that was a tough one. But my second memory, I guess, of Andrew would be the 2023 World Series.
Yeah.
Game 4, man, that's a pivotal game.
Yep.
And that series was kind of in the balance, and Adolis Garcia had just been hurt, and Max Scherzer had just been hurt in Game 3, and the Rangers needed something. And the question throughout the postseason was like, well, what are they going to do with that 4th spot? And so they came up with Andrew Heaney. He goes out there and tosses 4+ shutout innings, pitches well enough for the offense to take advantage of the Angels bullpen game. gets out of there, and the Rangers go up 3-1 in the World Series. It was a pivotal game.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Huge
if the
difference
Rangers
between
lose
2-2.
that one,
Yeah.
it's 2-2, and then Arizona's at home for Game 5, and has their guy Gallen on the mound, and and then Merrill Kelly waiting for Game 6, and what he had done to the Rangers in Game 2. So, man, that was a huge performance by Heaney, and those guys hadn't pitched a lot. The Heaneys and the Dunnings, that
That's
group
right.
there at the bottom of the rotation, and Gray had pitched the night before so well, but he was coming off of the injury. So that was a big spot, and he just went in there and did it. And so very, very good. And then my third thing about Andrew Heaney, total professional with the media.
Yeah.
Rain or shine, good start or terrible start, he was waiting for us at his locker. A lesson that today's young pitchers, yes, I'm referencing Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, could definitely use. I really enjoyed that about him.
Yeah, and Gallagher-Champ brings it up, and I remember this too about Andrew. If he was bad, man, he told you, right? I mean, he was brutally honest about his performance, and he'd wait right there by his locker. I remember one time, I think we were in Oakland, and all the writers were still, and it was his first year. It's probably the first time I interviewed him post game. Writers were all still in the manager's office waiting to interview the manager, and I was standing there by his locker, and he goes, "You don't mind if we wait?" I said, No, I'm just here to be in place, but yeah, we'll do it all at once. Oh, good, man. I only want to do this one time,
Yeah.
I just stood there and talked for a few minutes. He's a big Thunder fan, Jeff, and of course I was on the Thunder pre and post game for a long time,
right?
So
yeah,
we were talking Thunder basketball until you guys got there.
He's from Oklahoma, went to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So playing for the Rangers made a lot of sense. And then, it was 24, I think, when his wife, who was pregnant with twins, they were delivered, I believe, prematurely. And so there was it was real dicey, and he ended up leaving, they ended up being delivered and going immediately to NICU, and then he went to Washington right before the All-Star break and started. And it wasn't great. And then he flew right back to be with his wife and daughters, and they were in the hospital for a couple months.
Wow.
And so, it was like he'd wake up, go to the hospital, stay at the hospital until it was time to go to the ballpark, then go to the ballpark, and then he'd either go to the hospital or go home and sleep. I mean, it was an ordeal for him, but he was just a pro, and that's never really heard about it, never made any excuses, good or bad. So good for Andrew Heaney, and good luck in his retirement.
Yeah, what a great career, and again, his brutal honesty. He said in the statement, you can find it all over social media, but he said, I was not an all-star. I'm not a Hall of Famer, right? But man, I loved every minute of playing this game. For 12 years, he played it, and he said, and he loved every interaction he had with every fan and every player and every person he came in contact with throughout that career, which includes us, thankfully. And he basically was thanking everybody for that opportunity. A kid from Oklahoma becoming, a major league player in a huge market like the L.A. market there for a long time. He also pitched in New York.
Yeah.
And I think, I see he got to 2 World Series, but he only won.
Well,
right?
He was part of he pitched one game for the 2025 Dodgers. And he gets a ring.
He gets a ring, so he's got a couple of rings.
Yeah. Let's see where else. Yeah. No, the Yankees in 21 didn't go to the World Series.
No.
The Dodgers in 22 didn't go. So, there you go.
Yeah.
2 rings. Not bad.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good for any career. So, fond memories of Andrew Heaney. And, of course, he was the impetus. I mean, the real impetus was Evan Carter, who in the clubhouse, when everybody was being, grab ass and whatever else, he's over there playing Creed, Can You Take Me Higher? And Heaney was the one who inspired him to basically, play it louder and let's embrace this. And Creed got this huge boost because of that. The other thing that Andrew Heaney did, he was standing in the back talking to Corey Seager about, Seager's like, I know I got to speak. I just, at the parade, this is, I hate speaking. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Andrew says, here's what you do. Go up there and say, we wondered what would happen if the Rangers didn't win the World Series. I guess we'll never find out. Boom, drop the mic. And that worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Worked out
I think we have a bobblehead of it somewhere.
Yeah, good suggestion. There it is, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know, I think was the actual phrase.
Piece of popcorn.
Popcorn's falling off there. Get out of here.
Everybody was wondering what would happen if the Rangers win the World Series. I guess we'll never know.
There you go.
Got Corey Seager off the stage quick, and it was the highlight of the parade and the rally. So anyway, more coming up. Let's talk about who needs to have those bounce-back years, not just with the Rangers, but other teams too. It's coming up next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. About a year ago, I had a roof inspection at the house. They said, you got a bad roof, but it's not going to be.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, there we are.
Hey, Qualis.
How about the Supporters Club?
Supporters Club. I bet Qualis is in the Supporters Club.
I bet they are.
Yeah. Anyway, that means they get some free emojis there, and they get access to videos done by all of our beats, including ones. John and I haven't done one for a while, but the skipper did one for the winter meetings, and we got another one coming up. The Cowboys. What's their offseason going to look like? What are the riders and what is our crew going to look like? I'd be interested to know.
Me too.
What that would be like, and I would love it to be part of the Supporters Club. Anyway, it's easy to join. You go to our YouTube homepage. There's a join button. Boom, hit it, and it'll take you through the process, which doesn't take very much time at all. And voila, you get another level of sports fandom from your friends here at DLLS. So you got the diehard, you got the Supporters Club. So join the Supporters Club today. Yeah, and don't forget about the newsletter. That one's free, and it's so fantastic. This morning, Ali was wishing everybody, a happy New Year and hoping that everybody had a good Christmas, and we'll trust that you all did. And then wrote about the Stars' heartbreak. They came back and got that game tied up, but then lost it in the shootout. So losers of 4-3, but they get a point out of the deal, so not so terrible. And then I think he was previewing his Mavs coverage, previewed what's happening tonight in your Prize Picks situation with Cooper Flagg and the rest of the team out there in Portland, I believe it is. But he keeps you up to date on everything that's happening in our little world of sports. Is Ali a Houston Cougar? He also congratulated the Cougs, Cougar High, I don't know, they sometimes call it in Houston. But anyway, they won their bowl game, first for them for a couple of years. So good for them, good for Ali, good for the newsletter. Join up, be one of them newsletter guys today. All right, so comeback players, MLB did this list of every team's got at least one player that needs to have a comeback season. Yeah. So the Baltimore, or I won't go through all of them, but the Baltimore Orioles guy is a guy who was linked, isn't anymore, but was linked very much to the Rangers, a guy who really needs a comeback season, and that's Adley Rutschman. And it appears that, what they wanted for Rutschman, understandably, was so high, and it should be, that there was no trade market that developed for him. So the Orioles are going to have the, really, I mean, it's a good problem, but they're going to have the problem of having two super highly ranked and drafted and pedigree catchers. Yeah, well, you need to have two catchers anyway in this day and age, and I think Samuel Basallo, whatever, however he pronounces it, can also play first base. And Lord knows they can DH on their days when they're not behind the plate. So it's one of those good problems to have, I guess. And Rutschman is I think this is his first year of arbitration, maybe his second. So if he has a bounce back year, he's gonna take a big jump on the salary front here, going into 27, and might get to the point where the Orioles can't retain him. So maybe at that point, then yeah, maybe going into his last year of the contract, they think about trading him. But
Sure. 90 games for him
yeah.
last year with a couple of oblique injuries, one on each side. Not good for anybody, especially not a catcher. And he hit only .220 with 9 home runs. That after being an all-star in his first in 23 and 24. I guess he was probably a part of the big league club in 22 as well.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
But switch hitter, power
Yeah.
from both sides.
Yeah.
The 23 All-Star game, he was in the home run
Yeah.
derby hitting from both
Yeah.
sides. Everybody thought that was pretty cool. And so, yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah. A guy in the Yankees choice for this, Volpe. And I feel bad for that son of a gun, man. He better have a better year, or those Yankees fans might actually find him and hurt him. I mean, they just get so angry at the guy. And who knows what the Yankees are still going to do. I mean, they may need to move him.
Well, I think he started out pretty guns a-blazing because he had the torpedo bat.
Oh, that's right.
And so he had a pretty good start to the year, and then he also had some defensive woes after his hitting woes caught up with him. So not a great year for the young fellow, but you would think that he's just too young to discard right away.
He really is, and I didn't realize he had labrum tear. He's already had off-season surgery.
Oh, well, that's a big one.
That labrum's a big thing.
Yeah, it is. Just ask Josh Young. You can ask Josh Young about a lot of surgeries.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Josh would definitely agree with that one as being a big deal.
Yeah, speaking of Josh Young, he is, of course, the Rangers, MLB's choice for the Rangers to have a bounce-back year. Young, they say, has long been seen as a potential cornerstone for this organization. Injuries obviously limited him his first few years, but he was in a career-high 131 games in 2025. We all remember the numbers. They weren't great, and they weren't good enough. And he's got to Mike Bassick and I were talking about this. Tom Grieve mentioned it, I think. Some of it is pitch selection. Just got to lay off that high fastball. He can't hit that. He's proven it, right?
Well, I mean, he's got to laugh the slider just off the plate too. I mean,
that's right.
He has
got some holes.
And when we talked to Justin Veely there, what's been now 2 weeks, Justin was like, "You're not going to change these guys," and this is something that Brett Boone had said as well. You're not going to take a 3% walk rate guy and make him a 20% walk rate guy in 1 year. So, you look at for little incremental things. If you can go from 3 to 6, that means you're making 3% fewer outs.
Mm-hmm.
You're maybe doing something a little more positive, being on base and helping score runs. And so I think, though, with Josh, and really, Kennedy did it, and Kennedy could have picked 3 guys. She could have easily gone with Jock Peterson or Jake Berger, but Peterson's going to be, I believe, this year is his final year of his contract. So,
there's an option,
Josh
but,
Young has some player control, and it certainly is a guy that 23 was the All-Star. He's the first-round pick. Came up with all this hype, and he's been out front and center and wanting to be a leader and all of that stuff. Well, it's time to put up. Otherwise it's going to be a Nomar Mazara situation. A guy who came up with all the hype and it just plateaued.
Yep. And that, Nomar Mazara was one of the big surprises I ever remember. That guy just seemed like he was destined for absolute greatness, and it just didn't ever quite click for him at the major league level.
Yeah, and I remember his debut was in 2016. It was
in Anaheim.
In Anaheim, yeah. Chu was outrunning sprints.
Yeah,
yanked his calf muscle, and then later in the game, Robinson Chirino was hit by a pitch and broke his hand or wrist, and so bright and early the next morning, in comes Nomar Mazara to face aging but still a veteran Jared Weaver.
Yeah.
And he goes 3 for 4 with
Yeah.
a homer.
Yep.
You know, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's here!" And it was a good season. 20 homers next year, 20 homers next year, 20 homers next year. I think 19.
Yeah.
And it just plateaued. And there was maybe that third 20 homer season. He hurt himself somehow. I can't remember what it was, and he tried to play through it, and the numbers just tumbled after that. That year, though, he was primed to do more, I felt like. But then I don't know why it happened,
No, it's really strange. I mean, he had a great attitude. He was a great pedigree. His father was, he grew up with discipline. His father was a military guy in the Dominican, right?
Yeah.
And so, and a ranking military man in the Dominican. So, really strange how that came back to bite him. If you're wondering who the Astros need to have a bounce back year, they say in MLB, and this is Brian McTaggart, our buddy Brian McTaggart. He says it's Yordan Alvarez, but Yordan Alvarez missed 100 games last year. Yeah, I mean, of course he needs to, but he's right. I mean, the best availability.
Yeah.
But Yordan missed 100 games, so basically, if he's out there, you feel pretty good about his chances of succeeding.
Yeah, the what was it, the wrist injury with Yordan that they just couldn't, our hand that they couldn't quite figure out.
Nope.
That makes a lot of sense because the guy's a terror when he's healthy. He's frightening.
Yep.
And that was the at bat I worried about throughout the whole ALCS, and the one guy that had his number was Jordan Montgomery. And, but the rest of it, because he took Cody Bradford way deep in one of those games to center, and he just hits the ball so hard. It's scary.
Yeah, it's amazing actually, and so there's another one in the division, and I was looking. There was a couple in the National League that were interesting to me. O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I mean, this is another one. That guy we just thought was like, and he really leveled off this year.
Yeah,
OPS dropped 100 points.
Well, and he's playing center field now as opposed to shortstop. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but like as far as like just raw power and exit velo, he's one of the top guys in the league.
Yeah,
he hits balls 120 miles per hour, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and that's like Stanton, Judge territory. That's who you're talking about.
Yep.
And this 6'7", he's 6'7". He's a big guy.
I always thought he was too tall to be a shortstop anyway.
Yeah.
And I know. I mean, Corey Seager, as we've talked about, is about 6'4", and looks, when you stand next to him, feels like he's about 6'7". I mean, he's a big man.
Yeah. But the it needs to happen.
Yeah. No, it does. For the Diamondbacks, interesting. Brandon Pfaadt, you almost forgot. You almost forgot that he was even there.
He did not have a good year last year.
No.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, and where do somebody had Jordan Montgomery in the chat? Where do we stand on Jordan these days?
He had Tommy John surgery, so he's still rehabbing from that. I don't know. I don't know about that one. He can be very good but I think it's a unique situation for him. He has to be happy. I don't think he ever wanted to sign with the Diamondbacks, but they gave him the money and the unique deal, and then he was terrible. And then the owner popped off about him, and then he hurt himself. Well, I don't know if he hurt himself, but he was injured. I don't know. Jordan's wife is a doctor. I don't know that. I never could get a read on Jordan. Very quiet guy.
Yeah, he really was.
So I don't want to say, I don't know if he has the work ethic, but I don't know. There could be some things pulling him in a couple of different directions, but also he probably doesn't want to go out like that.
No. He really liked it here, understandably. For half a season, not even.
Well, he liked his pitching coach, who's no longer here.
Yeah, good
point.
Yeah, really good
that's
point.
Another
so But he was more athletic than anybody ever thought. That
Well,
diving
man,
play.
play of the playoffs. You could
Golly.
argue. Holy cow!
Unbelievable diving for that little pop up on the first
Such
baseline.
a big situation. Bases loaded, no outs.
Unbelievable. So anyway, that's some of the guys. We mentioned the others too. You all know Jack Peterson, obviously Jeff mentioned, and Jake Berger fall into that category as well. So need a bounce back year, guys, and we need it now. It's more coming up. It's the cleanup segment, as we like to call it, coming next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. There it is, and we'd like to tell you to become a diehard. If you haven't already, I know many of you have, and we appreciate you for doing that. Jeff is going to write for something that's going to go behind the paywall today.
No, that one's not going to be behind the paywall.
Oh, it's not? You're going to put this for free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you don't even need to be a diehard for this one, but this will be a teaser for you because you'll know this kind of writing is available every day almost. But a lot of times it's behind the paywall. And what he's going to write about next is his ballot. He's mailed his. There are plenty of voters out there who haven't even mailed their ballot yet for the Hall of Fame. And it's due Wednesday, Jeff?
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Yeah, due Wednesday. So anyway, Jeff's got his in, and we're going to hear what he said and why he said it on the ballot tomorrow on this show as well, but also he will write about it. So check that out at alldlls.com. That's one reason to become a diehard. Others, and we have writers for every one of our teams, and 20% off, and bless you, Prophet, and 20% off all of our merchandise, and 20% off all of our events. It's a no-brainer. Become a diehard today.
Yeah, and then you get a free shirt when you become a diehard, which you can pick out at store.allcitynetwork.com. Lots of shirts, lots of sizes, and always adding new stuff, new ideas that come to the, pop in somebody's head, and like the Stay Shiesty thing, that was a new one with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The new I guess our newest baseball shirt was the Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. Oh, he's wearing it, and my brother-in-law received that as a gift this year. Yeah. So, so store.allcitynetwork.com. We now are up to 5 hats. This is the OG, which is now 3 months old. But I have still not purchased the Stars hat. Hopefully, a Rangers hat will be coming out.
Yeah, we need one.
I know that T.O. is asking for one.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that one be a branded Bills item because 3 of our 5 hats are partnered with branded Bills. Anyway, good stuff. Store.allcitynetwork.com.
Mason got the one of the other branded Bills one, which is the same one I got, the black one with the shield on it. And I don't look like Mason's in the chat today, but he hit us up over social media over the weekend. So
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good-looking hat. And a good choice by Mason and by me. Jeff mentioned that earlier in the show as we start the cleanup segment with Zach Elfin returning to the Orioles. He was plagued, too, by injury last year. 3 different stints, Jeff, on the injured list last year. So he signs 1 for 10, which, frankly, in today's day and age market climate, seems like a good deal for the Orioles.
Yeah, sure. And I might be making this up, but I believe that no, I didn't make that up, because Zach Eflin pitched for the Rays in that series against the Rangers. I think he started one of the 2 games. It was either the first or the second. Can't remember. Glass now might have started the first, and then Big Z there the second one. But I'm pretty sure that's it. But anyway, yeah. Now the Orioles have been one of the more active teams this offseason.
They have, and they're still very much alive, I think, on Framber. You hear Orioles Mets, and it feels like, that Orioles lineup is stacked.
Yeah.
Again, they had a situation not unlike the Rangers last year, I think, where 9 guys just didn't hit. How does everybody have a down year? Ask the Rangers, ask the Orioles. But in any event, the reality for the Orioles is they have right now a really good lineup.
Yeah.
And they need better pitching. I mean, they probably have maybe the 5th best rotation in that division. And so they need a
There's only
stout.
5 teams in the division.
Well,
you
got
I know.
you got
No, I'm
Toronto,
saying,
Yankees.
that tells you
yeah,
how it's not good.
yeah. Boston. I'll take all 3 of those. I'm not sure I'll take Tampa over the Orioles.
If McClanahan is healthy, I would.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're they have depth in the minor leagues, of course, because they were terrible for a lot of those years and did a good job drafting.
Yeah.
Adley Rushman,
being
one of them. But I think that you're they signed a closer too, correct? And and so they're going to be pretty serious. About it, at least if you can't have a great staff and have a great bullpen.
Boy, and that's the amazing thing. They've really loaded up, and there's no guarantee they're anything better than 3rd, 4th, or 5th in that. They'd probably be a 4th place team.
Yeah,
Toronto, they've loaded up. Yankees are the Yankees. Boston, right? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah,
that is a tough division.
It seems like I'd probably I'd put the Orioles out of the race.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
But then again, the Rays surprise us every year. So
every year. Yeah.
They may have something waiting for us that we don't know about. Joe Kelly is retiring as well. He'll jump into that Porsche that Shohei Ohtani gave him and drive off into the sunset, Jeff. Although I think Ohtani gave that to Kelly's wife, didn't he? I think that's how that went down.
Or the wife just took it.
Yeah,
one of the, that's probably the more likely scenario.
One of the two.
Yeah.
He was fun. Didn't he have? He had a whole thing going with the Astros.
Right.
That's what that was fun about him.
Yeah, early in that season, their first season after the
trash can
thing was made public and the punishments were handed out, and he had been talking some trash, and then there was an appearance in Houston where he was just John with them, and he walked off and was making faces at him and stuff like that. So good for him.
Yeah
Good. I mean, pretty good career, really. I mean, he was a high leverage guy for a lot of years.
Yeah. And as we bring that up as a quick aside, and I get us off track a minute, man, were the Astros lucky that the year wasn't it the actual COVID year 2020.
Yeah. So if they didn't have to hear from fans.
Yeah. If they'd had 81 games in 2020 on the road,
oh yeah,
they would have been inundated. But heck, by the time 2021 came around, and even then crowds were down a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. We've gone through COVID. We're not so worried as much anymore about the dang Astros. People haven't forgotten, but yeah, they got lucky. It would have been would have been every game, every city they played.
Well, even the spring games they did play.
Yeah.
Fans were giving it to them pretty good.
Yeah.
So
and should have.
Yeah.
Should've. Yeah. So of course there's always off season there's been the talk of Tarek Skubal being traded because the Tigers, don't want to or don't believe they can, which is BS, but Ilitch family, for God's sake, they own Little Caesars. They keep coming up with new items. Pizza puffers, Jeff. Have you heard of those?
No, but they sound delicious.
Dang fine. Prophet, you had them? Yeah, they're good. Anyway, they got all these new products. They're, multi-zillionaires. Oh, we can't sign them. Yes, you can. That said, maybe they won't. Tarek Skubal has done a PR tour around not only the city of Detroit, Jeff, but the state of Michigan to basically put the ball back in their court and say, I want to be here.
Good for him.
So look at him. That's with my man, Bob Seeger. How about that? Working and practicing all them night moves up there. It looks like, obviously, it's at a game. Oh, it's at a Lions game. There's the Seeger with the and Bob Seeger lives just up the road. I mean, fantastic. There's pictures of him with Eminem. Pictures of him, Skubal, hugging on Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, right? With Cade Cunningham, Tom Izzo, the head coach of Michigan State. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nice. On
Sounds
you.
like Tarek doesn't want to turn the page.
He does not.
Thank you.
I see what you did
Yeah,
there.
all right.
And
Nailed
he does
that one.
not want to turn the page, and that's well played. And but is his agent Boris? Do you know?
I think so. Yeah, because Boris was getting a lot of questions about him at the winter meetings.
Well played, Boris and Tarek. Like, look, I don't want to be traded. I want to be in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right? That's the message that's being sent. Now, we'll see what happens. If Detroit is smart, they still got to trade him if they're not going to sign him. I mean, I guess you could trade him at the deadline, but you get more for him if you trade him.
The more control, the more you're going to get for him. You know, now, although it does seem like trade deadline prices have gone back to, outlandish proportions like in the good old days. But I don't. Yeah, if the smart baseball move, if you know you're not going to sign him, you're not going to try to resign him.
Got to trade him. Got to get something for him, right? Other than because they'll offer him. Obviously, they'll give him the qualifying offer, but you got to get more than a compensatory pick.
Yeah, draft pick's nice, but
no, not that nice. Not Tarek Skubal nice.
Yeah, but if they're in first place at the deadline and they want to win the World Series, they can't really trade him. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
So
no,
maybe a World Series championship would bring the sides together.
Yeah,
and allow them to put their heads together and come up with a deal.
There's just no doubt that the all revenue for a team that wins the World Series increases.
Sure.
Right? Not just ticket sales and parking and those types of things that you get from the games, the extra games that you play, but everything. I mean, you get more in merchandising.
Yeah.
You get everything goes up.
Well, and I would assume that you can bump up your ad prices, ad costs more, and things like that. So anyway, I hope they find a way. I hope they sell some pizzas and get it in some pizza pastries.
A few more pizza puffs.
Get it done.
That pizza puff, that's got to take off, people. Buy pizza puffs. Caden Scarborough, let's hit a few of these things in here. Andres is saying, unfortunately, that's the next person who will be traded. I don't think so. And I mean, his star is rising. I don't think that, I mean,
I'd see why he's taking some crap here for his deadline deals. And, you can't really count the deals in 2024. They, for Yosemite Sam and the catcher, they traded Liam Hicks to the Tigers, who then flipped him to the Marlins, and he was one of the two Marlins catchers this year. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I don't fault him for trading for Merrill Kelly and trading away, 3 pitching prospects. They thought they had a chance. You go for it. I would question the 24 trades more than I would even though they weren't for great prospects, I'd question the Rangers' chances at, really contending and making those trades. I thought those trades were just weren't necessary.
And that season seemed so much more bleak than this one. And we all got this one at the time. It was like, oh my gosh, the pitching is so good.
Right.
You cannot waste this pitching performance and not make the playoffs, right? And when you're right there, not sure, get it. Do it. Yeah.
And if they couldn't get a hitter, okay, which Lord knows they needed, they tried to beat them with more pitching.
Yep.
And, maybe they were potentially aware that Evaldi was dealing with something, because it turns out, hey, he needed surgery for a hernia, and they knew that they might have to scale back on DeGrom. So if you get another guy in there that's done it before, okay. Now, we'll see what happens with Mitch Bratt and, Cole Drake, who I really, really like, and then Michael Hageman, who we didn't really get to know. So we'll see, but it's the cost of doing business, man. You know? No, but you're right, and people who are concerned about the depth in the minor leagues, there's a problem there.
Yeah, there's not much there.
keep in mind in a couple weeks as the international signing period opens, and then there'll be a draft where they will, get to add, up to 20 players in the draft, and who knows how many more they'll add in international. And yeah, it takes some time, but those players get scouted too. So anyway,
and the Rangers do a pretty good job, by the way, as we mentioned before, scouting those players. So anyway, that's the show for today. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Tio's right. People are a little down today. So tomorrow it is our mission to build you, our lovely and faithful chatters. We're going to build you back up.
All right.
In part with Jeff's Hall of Fame ballot. You will agree with everybody Jeff has placed on there.
I doubt it.
Or not. And if you don't, that's okay. But it'll build you up to, shoot him down.
Whatever
it takes. Yeah, whatever it takes. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you again. Thanks to the Prophet. I hope we have him back again soon. We'll see you again tomorrow. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.